It's time for piano. Hi, nice to see everybody this afternoon. It is Saturday. It is the 15th lesson overall for our Adults and Teens virtual piano series, but the 5th lesson in the summer. So I'm just so happy that you could join me today. Couple things to talk about before we get started. The first thing is if you don't mind sharing this video, I would really appreciate it. Remember, every single share that you do helps me reach even more potential students, right? It's a critical part of running a small business, right? The second thing is of course, subscribe on YouTube. If you happen to miss a piano lesson, YouTube is going to be your favorite thing ever, because that way you can re-watch the lesson that you missed. Or if you happen to encounter a really tricky spot in your music, you can rewatch those sections, right? I'm there for you every day. The next thing is of course, if you haven't joined the private Facebook group, Encore Music Makers, I encourage you to do so as well. That's where you can get that one-on-one interaction and feedback from me. You post videos of yourself playing, you get feedback, and you get to interact with a very, very lively and positive group of piano learners. The last thing I want to say is I am on a platform called Patreon. There's my little address, right? So Patreon is a platform for creative people like myself who offer a service to the public for you as a consumer of my services to support me on a more regular basis. Granted, my lessons that I offer are free, but in order to keep it free, I need help. So if you want to contribute on a regular basis, I have tiers that you can join, as low as $5 a month, all the way up to $50 a month, depending on what works for your budget. So consider that. Thanks so much. So that's basically it. So what we're going to start with today is we are going to review our song from last week, right? We had Beautiful Brown Eyes, right? And that one was on page 65. So go ahead and pull out your books. There it is. Awesome. So I'm going to turn to 65, all right? And we are going to go over Beautiful Brown Eyes, okay? Now, a couple things to remember about this song, right? We had learned about introducing E for your left hand, right? That opened up the door to a C chord in the left hand while we were in G position. So this song demonstrated mastery of that chord in addition to our G major chord and the V7 chord, or the D7 chord, excuse me. So let's go through Beautiful Brown Eyes and see how it goes, okay? I think you're going to do a wonderful job. Let me switch to piano view. Okie dokie. Hi, Letty. Oh, I'm so glad you're on. Wonderful. Okay, so let's find ourselves in the G position, right? We've got our right hand thumb on G above middle C. We also have our left hand thumb on D right next to middle C, okay? Now, if you've got a pedal on your piano or keyboard, you can go ahead and get that right foot positioned with the ball of your foot on the furthest pedal to the right, okay? You will encounter the pedal in the third measure, okay? I'm going to count off and we're going to do our best to play together, okay? 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Line 3. It's a nice little song. I mean, it really is showing us exactly like what kind of magic we can make with the left hand chords now that we've introduced a third chord. It's actually kind of exciting. So I hope you're feeling confident about that. You guys did a wonderful job. You've passed. Beautiful brown eyes. Congrats. All right. I'm going to turn the page now to page 69, okay? On page 69, remember we were practicing the warm-up at the very top of the page, right? Yes. All right, so let's go ahead and play through that warm-up because it's going to set us up for the next song we're going to be learning today, okay? Now, this is a right-hand exploration of the G major chord, the D7 chord, and the C chord, okay? It's very much in the same vein as the song we just learned with those chords in the left hand, but now we're going to be exploring it in the right hand, okay? Let's see if we can play through it together. I'm going to switch to piano view. Okie dokie. So I've got my right hand, and I'm going to place that in G position. So I'm going to find my G above middle C, and I'm going to fan out my fingers right there, okay? Now you notice that the warm-up line itself it has a repeat sign. So we're going to play it through 2 times, okay? Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to count out. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Very nice. Okay, yeah, we've done like some really good stuff today already. And like we're only what, a few minutes into lesson? Great work on that. All right. So with that same energy, I want you to continue and look at the next song that's on page 69. We've got a song called Alpine Melody. Okay. It's a really cool song, I promise. Let me show it to you guys real quick. Right there. Alpine Melody. Okay. So Alpine Melody is really interesting because it's got the melody in the left hand this time, okay? Because in order for us to really understand how those block chords work in the right hand, we have to give ourselves a chance to play it in the right hand, right? So that way, this piece, the melody is going to be in your left hand, okay? As we're looking at this piece, I want you to remember you've got a lot of rests in there, okay? They're kind of scattered throughout. You've also got an interesting dynamic sign to begin this piece. We're starting piano, okay? That is actually kind of a hard thing to do when we have the melody in the left hand because naturally we want to play things lower on the piano more loudly, right? And that's something that can be tricky in order to control the volume. So make sure you're very aware of the pressure that you're putting in your right hand, your left hand, excuse me. I got caught up in myself. Oh, hey, Grace. Yes, I know you do have a lot of catching up to do. So looking here at page 69, Alpine Melody, we're going to start by learning this piece with the left hand only, okay? Since that's where the melody is going to be living. We're going to be in a G position still, okay? So I'm going to switch to piano view, and I want you to follow along with your music, okay? Okie dokie. Okay. So looking here, I have my left hand thumb on D, right next to middle C, okay? I've also got my right foot here, the ball of my foot on my pedal. So if you have your pedal, the pedal that's furthest to the right, you can go ahead and have it ready. Because at the end of the first line, we have a little bit of pedal. So I'm going to try and start as piano as I can. All right, I'm going to count off. And I'm going to start by saying all of my note names in my left hand, okay? All right, let's try this. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. D, B, G, hold up to B, D, hold, C, F sharp pedal, hold. D, hold, C, down to okay. I noticed there is a repeat at the end of that, but I'm not going to go through it twice. Hey, so, okay. Now you understand what I was saying about the dynamics, right? Like, I completely went over my head. I played everything forte. So even as a teacher, like, I say these things to instruct you guys, like, oh, play it piano and left hand and all this explanation. And then what did I do? I just turned around and played the whole thing forte. I noticed that after I started playing, I was like, oh, I'm going to have to say something about it. So be very hyper aware of those dynamics as you're going through this piece, okay? You also notice that a lot of the intervals that we are encountering, it's kind of like the outline or the broken chord versions of the block chords we had learned last week, right? So if you think about this, the 1 chord is a GBD, right? If you look at a lot of the melody line in the left hand, it's actually those same notes, right? And then you have the outline of the D7 chord. You've got D, C, F sharp. Surprise, surprise, right? And then when you get to line 3, it's the outline of the C chord, G, C, E. So even though it's the melody in the left hand, it's just sort of an elongated version of a broken chord in the left hand, okay? So keep that in mind as you're practicing, okay? Now let's explore a little bit of the right hand, okay? This is where we have the block chords going on. And they are just scattered all throughout here with lots of chord arrests, okay? So it's going to sound kind of funny when I do the count off and when I say rest and things like that. But see if you can follow along in your music. Either follow with your finger or see if you can play along with those chords with me, okay? I'm going to go through it very slowly, all right? Let's give it a try. Let's go to piano view. Awesome. Oh, yay, I see 4 of you online. If you're there, too, feel free to comment or drop emojis and all this stuff, just so I know that you can hear me and everything's good, okay? All right, so I've got my right hand now. I'm going to find my G above middle C and fan out my fingers, okay? Do keep in mind, though, that there's a lot of rests in here, okay? So it's going to sound kind of funny how I play it, okay? Do your best to follow along. I'm going to count off. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, rest. Rest, rest. Rest, D7. Rest, rest. Pedal. Rest, D7. Rest, rest, D7. 7. Rest, 1. Rest, rest. 1. Rest, C chord, rest, rest. C chord, rest, rest. D chord, rest, rest. Pedal, pedal. Rest, D7, rest, rest, D7, rest, rest. 1, 1, G major, 2, 3. Ooh. Ooh, I could see myself sort of getting a little bit lost in there, right? Those rests kind of, they really like, the way that they're written in the music here, it appears to follow a pattern, but that pattern is so disjointed that it can be tricky, okay? So I think the best thing to remember is if you do have a pencil at the keyboard with yourself and your piano, if you want to draw a line straight down from your right hand chord down into the bass staff, that can show you exactly when those chords are supposed to happen, right? So let me give an example, okay? I'm going to draw my lines from my right hand chords down, and I'll show you what it looks like, okay? This is that way I have a visual in my left hand line. Do you see those lines? Yes. That way I have a visual in my bass staff where those chords are going to happen, because my brain is primarily thinking about the melody at this point, okay? So if I have a visual reminder of the type of chord that's going to be happening from the right hand, it will help me when I'm doing this piece hands together, right? Granted, having this piece being practiced and played hands together at the beginning is a really difficult thing to do. It might be best, again, to see if you can practice it hands apart to begin for the first couple days or few days, right? And once you feel a little bit more confident in your notes and you're not quite second guessing your chords in your right hand, then you can try to put hands together, right? There's absolutely no reason whatsoever for you to attempt this hands together at the beginning, right? This is a slow and steady race, right? It's not even a race, right? Everyone's on their own piano journey. And if it takes you a little bit more time to reach an optimal tempo for hands together, that is okay, right? That's absolutely fine. So now that we know what Alpine Melody sounds like hands apart, let me give you a little preview of what it's going to look like and sound like hands together, okay? So turn on those listening ears. All right, so here we go. All right, I've got my right foot on my pedal, my sustain pedal, damper pedal, and then I've got my hands in G position. My right hand thumb is on G above middle C, and my left hand thumb is on D right next to middle C. Okay, I'm in position. Now I'm going to do my best to actually pay attention to the dynamics now. Okay, I'm going to count off. Let's see how it sounds. 1, 2, 3, ready, and play. Okay, so it's like a fun little piece for sure. Okay, now, don't worry, you will get it, okay? And remember, if you need extra help, you join me on Monday for practice with me. If you can't join me live on Monday, remember, all of these videos are up on YouTube. So if you need the extra help, you find the practice with me video that goes with lesson 15, and you will be able to practice with me too, okay? Now I want you to turn the page to, let's see here, page 72. Wow, we're just flying in here. All right, there's a page here called Middle C, 72. All right, and there's a little song down there called Thumbs on C. Okay, now if you look at page 72, we are introducing ourselves to a new position, right? This is called Middle C position, all right? These include notes that you already know, okay? The beauty of middle C position is I like to use imagery, and I like to think of it as a butterfly, right? I do this with my kids, but that's okay. It's a really good visual for adults too, right? So you've got your butterfly, right? There's the butterfly's head. These are the wings, right? Both of your thumbs are going to be on middle C, right? Think of that as the flower that your butterfly is landing on, okay? Middle C, both thumbs, right? Let me switch to piano view so you can see this. Both thumbs on middle C. It kind of feels funny because they're squished, right? But don't let that worry you too much. And then you'll fan out your fingers. All your finger 2s are going to be on B and D, 3s on A and E, 4s on G and F, and 5s on F and G. Okay, it kind of looks like this. You see that? Yes. Okay. This position here, again, these are notes that you already know, right? Because we've done both C position and G position. So this little song here called Thumbs on C, it looks like it's going to be a song that we're going to assign. And it will be. It's going to be a song that it doesn't look like much right now, but it's definitely something that's going to give you a little bit of challenge in reading your music, okay? So it begins with the left hand, finger 5 on F. Hear that? It's totally different. Yes, Grace, I love your butterfly middle C. That's perfect. There you go. Nice emojis. And then your right hand pinky is on the G above middle C, right? Feels kind of awkward. There it is, right? Kind of sounds like a butterfly flying. All right, this piece, thumbs on C. You can't even see my face. This piece begins with the left hand, right? And you're exploring those fingers going up and also the right hand in the second line, okay? This song does have a repeat, so it ends up being a 4-line song anyway, okay? It's moderately slow. It'll be in 4/4 times, so 4 beats a measure, okay? And it's about a mezzo forte, so it's not going to be a piano like the last song, right? Alpine Melody was piano. Thumbs on C is going to be mezzo forte, okay? So let's see if we can play through this one, okay? Let me switch to piano view again. And we can explore this piece, okay? There's the butterfly middle C position. We're beginning with that finger 5, left hand, pinky on F. I'm going to play through this slowly, all right? I'm going to say my note names the first time through, and then on the repeat, I'm going to say finger numbers, okay? Let me count off. 1, 2, ready. Play. F, G, A, B, C, 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 hold. C, B, A, back to B, and C, 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 hold right hand. G, F, E, D, C, 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 hold. C, D, E, D, C, 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 hold, repeat. Now we have finger numbers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, hold. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, hold. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, hold. And there it is. All right. Okay. So, thumbs on C is basically going to be a piece that's going to set you up for the following piece, right? The next one. So next week when we learn waltz time on the following page on 73, you're going to feel perfectly set up, perfectly awesome and ready for waltz time, okay? I wanted to see if I could give you waltz time today, but I don't quite have enough time to do that one as well. And that just, to me, it feels a little bit overwhelming. 3 songs versus the week before I only gave you 1. That's kind of a lot. So we'll stick to the 2, okay? We'll stick to Alpine Melody, which is already in itself a tricky song, and Thumbs on C since it's a new position, okay? If you're feeling okay about that, go ahead and comment and let me know. Yes, okay, so let's see if we can go through Thumbs on C again. I'm going to slow it down even more. Okay, and focusing on the left hand for the top line and the right hand for the bottom line. Okay, let's try it again. You guys are doing amazing, by the way. I see, like, I have a consistent group of people that really tune in and they follow every single instruction that I give. So I really appreciate you guys. Okay, so we've got both of our thumbs on that middle C, okay? That butterfly has landed, and I have spread out all of my fingers on the keys surrounding that middle C, okay? We're beginning with that pinky finger 5 on F, left hand. Okay? I'm going to count off and let's see how it goes. Okay? 1, 2, ready, play. F, G, A, B, C, 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 hold. C, B, A, B, C, 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 hold. Right hand. G, F, E, D, C, 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 hold. C, D, E, D, C, 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 hold. Repeat. F, G, A, B, C, 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 hold. C, B, A, B, C, 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 hold. G, F, E, D, C, 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 hold. C, D, E, D, C, 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 hold. All right. How did you do that time? Were you able to keep up with me, or were you just following along in the music? Yeah? You guys are awesome. Like, you stick with me through all these lessons and you're improving week after week. I know, because I see those videos in the private group. It's really remarkable. You know, as an adult or a teen or an older learner, there's nobody forcing you to do this, right? It's just you. So that's the amazing power of just wanting to do something for yourself, right? When you try and achieve something, you feel that much better about it because you know that nobody was forcing you, right? It was just you, right? So having that willpower to achieve something like learning piano when you're stuck at home, like that's pretty awesome. So give yourself a pat on the back. That's like fantastic. Awesome. Well, that was amazing. You have done a fantastic job, okay? Now, you can close your book, okay? I have written on my notebook that there is no theory for this week for you. So y'all are lucky. No theory homework for this week. So that means you can spend that extra time working on your songs, okay? Since you've got 2 this week, I think it's going to be the right amount of challenge, okay? Wonderful. Now, just like I mentioned before, I am on Patreon. Patreon is a fabulous platform for creative people like myself to offer you guys tiers, donation tiers that are really, really comfortable for you guys to help support me in these lessons, right? And actually today is an awesome day to join Patreon because it's the first of the month. It's August the 1st. And I have some really amazing stuff lined up for my patrons only for this month. I have exclusive Q&A videos, I've got polls, I've got song choice discussions, I even have a secret super awesome thing that's going to be announced probably towards the middle of this month, but my patrons get a sneak peek. So if you want to be a part of that, consider joining my Patreon, right? Just visit patreon.com/IzzyChia. I would love to have you. Thank you for letting me say that. Now, the final thing is, of course, a music quote, right? We end every lesson with a music quote, and I actually love our music quote from today, okay? It's really, really, like, mind-blowing, okay? It comes from the Russian pianist and composer, Sergei Rachmaninoff, who's one of my favorites. And this is what he says. Music is enough for a lifetime, but a lifetime is not enough for music. That is true, right? Like, all the music in the entire world, there's like no way you have enough time to hear and experience and feel all of that music. There's just no way. So keep making music, right? Because the music that you are making is just, it's earth-shattering in its own right because it's yours. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can keep you from that, right? It's something that you are personally working on to better yourself. And it might be making you feel better with your mood. It might be giving you that self-care or that time spent on yourself to just feel like you're accomplishing something, even in such strange times that we are in right now, right? It's pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed that music quote. Again, I'll see you guys in the private group. If you need extra help, hop in there, ask a question, post a video. I'll see you guys at Practice With Me on Monday if you join in. And always, always have a lovely weekend, and I will see you later. Take care.